And it looks like we're a go. And it says we're live here. Oh, okay. This is cool. The new client is pretty slick. And here we go. About to launch into Pagan Online. So it's a aRPG and it's from this weird company that I don't know much about, but what's interesting is it just came out of the blue. It's I didn't hear anything about it, and I love me some aRPGs, and then bang, here it is, and it's pretty polished and deep, considering how not known it is. So let me jump into it real quick. When you start the game, you're gonna just randomly get to pick one of three starting characters. Um, I know this guy is is one of the choices I got. So this is the one I mainly start with. And as you can see here, it uses your WASD keys, your mouse, middle mouse buttons, and each of your characters have the four skills plus a combination of these other like passive skills that they could use all the time. In for example here, I get a shield on this guy. When I take damage to the shield, I get a buff to damage, and when I hit a max stacks of that shield buff, I get to do more damage on my other abilities. I got a taunt. If I taunt people and then I hit them with this little move here, which hits everyone around me, it does more damage. Then of course my ultimate. So it has kind of the MOBA feel where you only have like 4 or 5 abilities and you have to play it that way. As you play through the game, you get shards, these little drops that you could then use to get these other characters here. So far, it looks like there's no like pay to win. So for example here, you use these shards to customize things, right? So it's not exactly cheap. So I need 60 shards to get this customization here, and 100, 150. It's pretty slick. I kind of want this one here, but it's gonna take a little while before you get there. Once you actually clear like the initial like purchase of the skin, to switch to various colors actually is money, and it's all in-game money. I haven't found a currency that's like an external thing that you would use, so it's pretty slick. I like the fact that for the most part you don't have to pay for anything once you buy the game, and the game is $29.95 right now in early access. And what you get, this is not like most early access. What you get for early access is a lot. So far, um, I see you could go up to level 45. There's a whole story with little cutscenes and boss fights. And then some of the boss fights are pretty difficult, especially depending on your character. So this character here is, basically sword and board, shield, needs to get close. So some of the bosses that destroy anyone who gets close to him, yeah, you don't want to be next to those guys. And some of the fights have been a little difficult for me. One of the first characters I unlocked was this guy over here, and if you look at his abilities, he's completely different than my sword and board. He'll he'll use this ability here to escape. Like, it's unique in that each character has one escape mechanism and basically 4 attacks. They all also have an ability to like move people away from them. That was his E. He has a little damage ability here, and then he has another damage ability. Then he has a unique perk of, depending on how you use the mouse button and the other abilities that tie into like his basic attack, he switches between. So using the middle mouse button, I could switch between fire and lightning elements. So if I get a lot of drops that are focused on lightning, then sticking with the lightning element would be better than doing the fire element. I just got this one here. Yeah, I like that one. Maybe it's just me, but I like that, that action right there. So her escape ability on shift is to kind of dash through people and regenerate health. She got a slow that damages everyone around it. Then she has this kind of explosion. This effect is kind of underwhelming when you actually see it in the game, but it does a good amount of damage. And of course this one here, I would combine the two to like really put out some damage. she's a different type of play style. They're all a little different, and in fact, she puts out a shit ton of damage. So working with her is actually, it feels nice and fun. Right, so yeah, they got a bunch of characters that I haven't gotten any drops for yet. I'm really looking forward to this one here because I've gotten quite a few drops, a couple of legendary drops for her as well. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a long road. This one as well, I got a legendary drop. Now, there's a couple things to note here, right? So you have this legacy. This is like a second experience bar. The first experience bar levels up your champion. As you see here, I'm 29 for this guy. And, 11 for both of these other side characters. But this one, when you level up, experience goes into the legacy bar. The legacy bar allows you to put on and use stronger gear along with giving you a buff to your other characters. So leveling up, so for example, I played this character on one mission and was able to get her to level 11. I just gave her a bunch of gear that I got from this guy, even standard gear, or I crafted some gear for her, and now she has enough damage to go, kick butt on her own. So let me just show you kind of all the features here. Like most games, you start off with few abilities and access to none of these things up here. But once you do get going, you have access to the battle gate, which is all the way at the top of the screen here. It's basically your mission layout, and as you can see here, there are multiple chapters full of content so far. This is not, there you are not joking when it comes to the amount of content you have available right out the gate. Then you got crafting. Crafting is unique and annoying at the same time, right? So instead of, the one thing that I'm hoping that they deploy at some point in the future is to give you additional tabs for like recipes and blueprints. A recipe is a one-time use thing that you could use to craft an item. So let's see. All right, so I have all the components here to craft the epic weapon between level 11 and 20. Since I don't want to waste a, let's find, and you can see here you could also craft another item, a blue or rare, between 21 and 30. So as you play, these drop. Your inventory space is not exactly big, but your stash space is ginormous. They'll give you multiple tabs to put things in your stash, but the on-hand inventory, for the things you're walking around with, it's incredibly small. As you can see here, as you level up in crafting, you get bonuses. So far, the best gear in the game are things you craft. And even when you don't craft it, if you get a really good item and you actually reforge said item, it becomes also like the best gear in the game. So for example, I got this item. It's pretty nice. Unfortunately, I don't have enough to reforge it. Let's see if I could find something where I do have it just to show. So for example, this item here, it shows you the power level, and it has a couple good stats. But let's reforge it and see what happens, right? So now I have, I could decide between the two of these here. Not much changed. Critical attack damage, fire resistance. I still prefer this one. So you just pick the one you want. You pay the fee, and there you go. So let me also jump back over here to the crafting. If you note here, every time you use one of these recipes, the item goes away. And to craft, all you need to craft is the base item. Right? So for example, this book, the mythical tomb. To craft this tomb into a rare or anything, I just needed this to drop. Now when it dropped, there were different levels of quality for this drop. So this one, for example, is flawless by 1 star. Some of them are just base, they'll have no star. Some will have a silver star. You want that gold star right now. I haven't seen gear with better than gold stars, meaning flawless. And then as you note here, my legacy ties into what it says, the requirement at the bottom. Most of the items in the game could be worn by all of your characters. The main thing that differs is like your weapons, and that's pretty much it. That's the only thing I've seen that's different is their weapons. Now, what stats around the items matter because some characters don't care. For example, this character, I'm building armor. So every item I want armor, strength, those sort of stats. But for this Shadow Incarnate here, I don't know if intelligence is what it needs because I don't have it. But intelligence is definitely necessary for the character that looks like a dominatrix. She needs it to really succeed. So just giving her stacks of intelligence is the way to go. Fortitude works for my guy as well. Another quick thing to note here, the different drops throughout the game kind of have focuses. So if as I'm more strength and fortitude type of guy, I want more of these drops because almost all my items will require it. Now comes another interesting component. Blueprints. They're basically just recipes for legendary items. One kind of weird thing, and I'm hoping they'll fix this as the game goes forward, is the recipes drop, but they don't tell you the level of the item. They only really tell you what item you need to make it. So for example, this here, to make this, I need a bronze talisman. Because I know that bronze is, kind of bottom end gear, this is probably like a level 11 legendary item. But it's really annoying that, the game wouldn't just tell you right here on the item the range of, the level of the item you're going to get. So far, as you can see, you could get multiple of these blueprints because these are one use. So you make the item, you give it to any of your characters, and you use it as long as you possibly can. Another interesting thing that I'm noticing here is that if you read this, for example, when you craft an item, movement speed increased by 50% for 5 seconds. So every time you get one of these and you craft an item, a lot of these buffs kick off on your character because your item was crafted, with it. This makes crafting one of the most important things in the game. And I like that. You could get a lot of drops through just playing. For example, my current best item is a blue drop. I just reforged it a couple times and I ended up with my best, item. I'm collecting, as you can see here, I'm collecting a bunch of these so that, maybe a couple hours from now I'll go and just sit and craft until I get a couple good items and maybe level up a little bit. Also here you'll notice that you get challenges. So the game is very rewarding for just the little simple things that you're going to do anyway. They give you a bunch of different items and they give you perks and reasons to keep crafting. One note here about your might, that just adds up your gear score. So sometimes it's best to have lower might to do more damage. So for example here, this is actually my best setup right now, but on one of my other items, I could raise all of my stats but lower my DPS by switching one item. It makes me, if I'm alive, it's easier to kill, which in turn means that's probably the better setup. But right now, I'm sturdy enough that I could just run through most opponents without issue. Alright, let me just show you a couple things here in the inventory. As you can see, this is the primary item that changes per character, but all these other items, they don't really change, and as you can see, I'm focused on armor rating and evasion. And just like in action RPG, you got the little stat screen here. They also have these little pets. Right now, there's only one pet that I've seen. I've seen another character running around with another pet, but he was noticeably higher level than I was. But what I've seen so far as far as the game goes is that the potential for the little add-ons and perks and little things that people could buy seems pretty high, and it's interesting. They have another little factor here, your abilities. So each of your abilities can level up, and then at certain points you get to add in and make them stronger in a certain direction. These things get increasingly more expensive though. For example, this item rarely drops, and in all my playtime I have 4 of them. And they're required just to get an additional 5 damage, here. So it gets expensive. Along with your abilities, and just talking about the amount of things that you have going on in this game. As you see here, these threats, at some point in the leveling process, you'll activate this. It's just random fights you could take with increased loot. No real prereq to do it. Is just available for you there. The Hero Forge is where we were with the list of all the available heroes. Then they have a vendor over here where you could sell your gear so far, and you could of course buy health potions. So far I haven't seen anything like with the bonus packs. I have seen that you could buy the packs with in-game money, so that is nice to see here. It's pretty nice with the money, so it's not like one of those games where they'll give you, like this, for example. This item is level 6, it's 24 gold. This item is level 5 or level 25, it's 700 gold. So they're not cheap with it here. And as you can see, I've been playing on and off when I have time and my daughter's on, in need of me, and I have over 400k in gold. It's not really difficult. I haven't found a use for glory yet. I don't know if in the future they're gonna have like a vendor for using glory or anything like that. Then there's also hunts. You could specifically just pick a hunt. Like, for example, if I know I'm gonna kill some mailed enemies, I just pick this, accept it. I'm just playing the game, and I'm gonna get extra rewards for doing nothing in particular. And all of these things, like the quests, the hunts, the threats over here, they all just switch out randomly throughout your play. One thing I want to show here is underneath the missions, along with the main mission that you're playing, or the campaign, you have assassination missions as well. And there's of course leaderboards, right? So assassinations are your main way of getting the character shards you need to level up or to get other heroes. So for example, this assassination mission here, I got 2 keys for it. I could jump into it. It's a level 18 mission, so it's not going to be that difficult, but I do have the ability here to just adjust the difficulty to whatever I see fit. That will give me better loot, and it will even tell you as you up the difficulty the type of loot you're going to get. So for example, if I was to do this one, I'll get a random tier 2 artifact. And you'll get all these other little items here if I did it on master difficulty. Tier 2, I'm really at like tier 4, about to be in tier 5, so that tier 2 artifact would be, I guess, useful for my my other beginning characters, but not really useful for me. So I'm going to, let's put it on difficult or master. Since it's level 18, it should still pretty easy, so I could just show you it in action, and we'll launch this mission just so you see how it plays out. Another interesting thing about this is there's leaderboards. So the faster you're able to do things, the better your chance of ending up on a leaderboard. And look how quickly it loads in. From the leaderboard though, when you launch into a mission, you have a chance to get an extra reward from a battle chest. And there's, oops, I already killed that guy, didn't I? Nope. Yeah. And there's other little things happening throughout, right? So for now, for example, right now I have this chicken, and I have a quest not to kill the chicken, but the chicken likes to like walk exactly where I am, so it becomes a little difficult, and some of my AoE attacks would kill the chicken in one hit, so I have to be very careful and kind of avoid them. Yeah, so I'm just gonna kind of just move around so that everything comes to me. The chicken gives you a lot of rewards. And as you see in this top right corner here, there's a timer. There's also these things called battle chests. So to get a battle chest, all you need to do is oops. Yeah, the chicken looks to die. all you need to do to get the battle chest is simply just play the game. While you're playing the game, I'm stuck in a corner. Yeah, I have to kill the chicken or I'm gonna die. But all you have to do to get the battle chest is randomly find it and clear the map, quick enough. So on normal missions, when you start out, the battle chest it's in some corner of the map. So for example here, if I open up the map so you can see.
And his little pet too.
See, the map just tells you where the generic encounters are, and it tells you where the boss fight is going to be. If you wanted to, on most maps that are about this big, randomly the chest will be someplace, and it will tell you, hey, you got 3 minutes to get to the chest. So you just have to move quickly and hope for the best. Pick a direction, run in that direction, hope it all works out. And for me, I usually, especially now, none of the gear in here is going to be useful to me. It might be useful to my other characters, so I'll just look and see if, a weapon drops for something that matters, or one of my characters that matter. Alright, so since there's no chicken here, and you can see there's challenges that increase your glory and, how successful you are here. And each of the champs have a bunch of abilities. Some abilities that like restack your mana pool or something like that. So for example, in this one, my right mouse button gives me back magic, or so I could continue to use my abilities. So as long as I hit, for every person that I hit with it, I get more mana back, which allows me. See, yeah, that's the one problem I have as this tank character here. When they really swarm you, it's easy to get caught out in the middle, and as you can see there, if that hit had landed, I would have been hurt. It takes a little getting used to some of the the movements. So for example, you got your WASD, right? But along with that, you also have all these different letters, and you have to press to pull off your abilities. And then you face the direction of your mouse. So even though I might be standing right in front of this guy and I want to hit this guy, the angle might be wrong, and I might end up hitting, missing with an ability because I moved my mouse when I shouldn't have. And as you see here, you only get so much health potions, and I'm not, I'm not too good at talking and playing, so my hand-eye and my movement in general is off. And at the end of each battle, you get one potion. So you usually want to have at least a couple potions to just prepare yourself. That will be good for her. When you really focus, and you get that rotation of abilities down, you could put out some damage. So this guy in particular, his shield could be up all the time if you play it right. And that's kind of his thing. Like if you keep his shield up, he does a shit ton of damage and he takes no damage. So, getting the hang of it is definitely key to like success, especially for, he's not a big damage dealer, he's more like a tank. And one of the things that the developers said is that they're gonna have what do you call it?
I come closer to rest eternal.
I need to get out of here. They're gonna have multiplayer soon. So some of the bosses you could see, they are like built for multiplayer. They're like perfectly done for someone that wants to do multiplayer. And he has a nice little ability to heal here, which makes moments like that where I'm like surrounded and being swarmed so much easier to deal with. Just because I could, as long as I pull off the heal, I'm fine. and then combine that with my shield, it makes, you know, even risky situations like this easy to deal with, and allows me to kind of just hang in there and not use that last potion until, you know, I really have no other choice right now. And yeah, this one is a little tough because of the way they kind of pinned me in a corner here. Yeah, they didn't give me exactly the greatest amount of room to work with. But yeah, and then one thing I've noticed about the game, whenever things start to get bad, the trick is simply movement. Keep roaming and don't let them pin you down. Yep, and as long as I keep my shield up, I'm able to pretty much just stay in the fight, you know, without worry. So yeah, this is probably harder than it needs to be, simply because of the little bit of space I have to work with here. And you can see how the loot drops, right? The game isn't cheap about it. They just give you tons of loot and loot, and because of the way it's, you know, it's randomly dropped, it seems like luck of the draw. Alright, so now we are about to be in the boss fight, and it has a nice little, yeah, check this out too. I like the feature there where you could knock down buildings, mess with the surrounding, and give yourself an advantage, do some damage. So here I'm gonna go, before I kill this guy and start the next wave, go pick up this little buff here. Get a nice little attack buff. Hit him with that. And to avoid, you know, and to prepare for like what's coming next, I don't want to really use any abilities. I want to kind of just kill him so that I could start the next fight with all my abilities ready to go. Okay, fine. I guess I gotta burn a little bit of health, mana and abilities to get rid of this guy. He's a little sturdier than I expected. One of the things I still have to figure out is kind of how powerful my shield could be, and like what's really the stat I want to use with my shield. Oh, you see, like that was a perfect example of what I meant before about timing and moving your mouse around. I moved my mouse just at the worst possible time, and then effectively numbed or wasted an ability here. Alright, let's get over there. Let's do that.
My resolve is gone.
So there you go. Now we're starting to move with some gas, right? Since this is the last guy, I'm gonna just use him to kind of get my abilities back. Yeah, I don't know why some of them are so sturdy and others are not. But it's also pretty cool. You have the ability to kind of, you know, play around people if you are smart with it. Because their moves are pretty telegraphed, even, you know, the small ones. See, like that. If I really wanted to, like, go out of my way and take no damage from him, if I actually want to get hit because of the way his shield works, just being hit at all just makes it easier to kill the next group. As you check this, I found this to be, you know, quite cool. Just the little extra thing there it does, where it goes into slow motion right as the boss is about to come out. To me, right now, the most dangerous parts of these fights are usually not even the boss fight. The boss fights are cool. For example, there is this one fight I was in where you had to bring the boss to a special part of the map before you could do any damage to him. He was completely immune, so you pretty much just had to walk him over to the area you needed him to go in before you could do anything to him. Otherwise, you were just wasting your time. Then, as soon as you did some damage, he would run away, then he would get back a shield and come back with another, place on the map that you had to bring him to. So it required a lot of little work. There's even parts that look like they could be like mini raids, if you will. Because there was a part where before you could even fight the boss, you had to drag minions over this location that required you to sacrifice them. Basically, you kill them in the location, and then you were able to maneuver and activate this lever so you could fight the boss. It required a bunch of movement. It took a lot of time. Then there was another one where I was facing a dragon. The dragon wasn't too tough, but after a little while and you bring the dragon to 50%, it then started to do a ton of damage, and it chased you and it just flame breathed the area. So if you weren't, you had to then move between some stuff, run in from it, get to this other stage where you end up tying the dragon down to beat him. Hey baby girl, you're back? Yeah. You had a good time at daycare?
Yeah, and I ended up crying.
You didn't cry or give any trouble?
No.
Great job. And Amaya's back?
Yeah,
and Mommy's back? Everyone's back? But with that note, that covers pretty much it. That is Pagan Online. A really new and fun aRPG. I've noticed I haven't seen much in the way of coverage of this, so I figured I'll just put a little video out there for people who are looking for an aRPG. I'm going to do a couple more videos of Starborn. That was a game I played a little while ago, and it seems like a lot of people really liked that video, so I wanted to do one just to kind of show people how that game has progressed from the last time I played it, because it does not come out with any sort of documentation, so it seems like a good game to reach out and get people interested in. Another quick note before I go, as you see, there is nothing in here that requires you to spend a penny to, do or enjoy. So I really want people to check this out. It doesn't seem to be going down the path of most games, and it's just giving these away. All I have to do is play 3 defense missions, and some of them, I could just pick them out of the map. Some of them will be these threats, and all of a sudden I get another card pack. You open the packs just like you would most games that, most free-to-play games make you feel like you open a pack and it's like, wow, this does the same sort of stuff. It's pretty impressive. I'm quite proud of what they've done. So this is Pagan Online. Give it a try. Let me know what you think, and I'll be probably playing this one for a little while. All right, have a good one. Papa Bear Gaming out.